Brian Windhorst, it's time for a windy watch. What's going on in Phoenix?
Well, this is some good news for the Suns. They are locking Devin Booker into a 2-year contract extension at about $145 million. That's right. It'll be the largest contract extension in average annual salary in NBA history, nudging out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander that he signed last week. Now, I just want to point something out. This new contract is for starting 3 years from now. In 2029 and in 2030, $70 million will be somewhat routine for top players in the NBA, just to get you past your shock value.
Yeah, that's good news for players in the NBA. What about Denver? What's going on with Jokic and the Nuggets?
This did not get done. So Jokic was offered a 3-year contract extension by the Nuggets. He turned it down. This is not a stunner to the Nuggets. Their owner, Josh Kroenke, said a couple of weeks ago they would offer it, and would expect him to turn it down. The reason he turned it down is because if he waits until next year, he can lock in an additional year and an additional $77 million. But it's never great news when your franchise player says no to an extension.
Tim McMahon, what do you think about what's going on in Denver? Could we be looking at Jokic on a different team at some point?
I mean, listen, you never say never, and I know people are going to, the Photoshop folks are going to have him in a Lakers uniform, maybe a Heat uniform. We can talk Clippers, so on and so forth. The simple fact of the matter, though, is I don't believe that Nikola Jokic is looking around and considering other possibilities. This is a pure financial play. As Wendy said, there's 77 million reasons for him not to sign this extension right now.
That is an awful lot of reasons, and that makes an awful lot of sense. Wendy, one more. What updates do you have for us on LeBron and the Lakers?
None. There is none.
Right.
There is no communication really between the Lakers and LeBron. He has picked up his option. The Lakers are expecting to see him in the fall. LeBron and his camp are still watching the Lakers offseason. But I can't emphasize this enough, Dan. The Lakers' primary objective this offseason is not LeBron. It is Luka Doncic. He can sign a contract extension of up to 4 years starting on August 2nd, although I suspect the decision will come much later than that. That is their primary thing. LeBron is now being treated as a 1-year player in the Lakers, for better or worse.
Tim, is this it? Like this last year for LeBron on the Lakers?
I mean, it feels like the last dance. I don't know when we'll hear from LeBron next. If it's not until media day, there will be a lot of ears tuned into that. It's as awkward of a limbo situation as we've seen maybe since the last dance with Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. You just don't see a legend like this put on the back burner by a franchise, but it makes sense considering he's in his 40s. Luka Doncic is just entering his prime, and the Lakers have to figure out how to build a contender around Luka, and LeBron is very unlikely to be a part of that.
They have to figure out how to build a long-term contender around Luka, but LeBron, as we know from every show we did last week, is interested in trying to compete for a championship before he is done. Have they done enough, Tim, to build a contender around Luka and LeBron for this year?
No.
All right.
A playing contender, sure. But no, they're not a top team in the Western Conference. They're not a threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They were a 3 seed last year. I'm not saying they're going to be a bad team, but we're not putting the Lakers in the conversation of contenders after they got smoked in 5 games in the first round and haven't, DeAndre, okay, fine. They haven't made major upgrades on this roster this summer.
All right. Meanwhile, this is new. Earlier this morning, Giannis Antetokounmpo was doing a live stream, and he was asked about Giannis trying to help out the show. He was asked about potentially playing in New York. Listen to what he had to say.
LA, the tax is bad. New York, tax is bad. Yeah. Hell no.
A lot of people tried to convince me. To go and play there and stuff.
Oh, no. So you staying in Milwaukee?
Probably. We'll see.
Wendy, something or nothing?
For first of all, congrats to that individual who was with him. I'm sorry, I don't know who it was. I couldn't see real well. For asking the question that a lot of us want to know, okay? And so, but the thing about it is that he didn't give a definitive answer, and I'm certainly not going to analyze something he said seaside in Greece. But what I will say is the "we'll see," that is a essentially what there's about 5 or 6 NBA teams banking on. We'll see. And I know it sounds trivial, but for years, Giannis was completely locked in. Him saying we'll see backs up what Shams has been saying this entire summer, which is that he might be more open-minded than he was in the past. And I would say the same thing. Probably in Milwaukee, but we'll see. And now I can quote Giannis on that. Thank you very much.
Right. That gives us license to talk about this. He was asked, you're staying in Milwaukee. If he had said yes, then we don't talk about it. Tim, he said, we'll see. What do you make of it?
Well, Wendy, that was speed. He's a famous, I think, streamer. I mean, come on, you got to know these things. We'll see. Giannis has been in we'll see mode for years. He was in we'll see mode, and then they went out and got Drew Holiday, and then he signed his extension. He got back in we'll see mode. They went out, they got Damian Lillard. He signed an extension. He's in we'll see mode right now. Miles Turner's not getting a long-term commitment out of Giannis. And listen, if taxes are a concern, I think there's a team in South Florida that has no state income taxes. There's some teams in Texas with no state income taxes, but there will be plenty of teams lining up and positioning themselves to pounce if Giannis finally, eventually decides it's time for him to go to greener pastures.
All right, we'll definitely keep an eye on that. We'll see on Giannis. That's the status of his situation, which is very, very interesting. Also interesting, Cooper Flagg making his NBA Summer League debut tonight against Bronny James and the Lakers. Tickets are not cheap. Average ticket prices, according to Vivid Seats, up to $223, with the cheapest coming in around $85, and a courtside seat would run you about $3,000. So, Tim, that indicates high expectations for the #1 overall draft pick. Is it fair to expect him to be a star right away?
I mean, obviously a lot of hype. Right away, I think it's a little bit much. If you define star as a guy who drives winning, show me the 18-year-old who has just come into the NBA and been a driving force in winning. I think eventually he's going to be the face of the franchise. The luxury that he has is he doesn't have to come in and carry the Mavericks right away. I know Kyrie Irving's out for at least the first half of the season, but they'll have Anthony Davis, they'll have a perennial all-star, and Cooper Flagg can just kind of come in as a role player, as a high-level role player, and grow from there.
Wendy, I got about 30 seconds. What do you make of the Mavs, especially if Kyrie comes back?
Let's just agree, Dan, that this is the best thing that we got going on a Thursday in July. So let's get excited about this game. But let's also agree we're not going to overreact to what happens with Cooper Flagg either tonight or anytime this summer.
I agree to that. I think the best thing we got going on is Giannis saying we'll see. I think that's great. I want to do another hour, but yeah, we're not going to do that. Do you know why? Because first take, exactly. First take is.
Hello, chào mừng các bạn đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Để bắt đầu vào làm thì các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình những dụng cụ như sau nha. Ở đây mình có chuẩn bị một tờ giấy màu vàng. Tiếp theo các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình một cây kéo, một cái bút chì, một cái thước này. Cuối cùng là một cây súng bắn keo như thế này nha. Đó, các bạn sẽ chuẩn bị cho mình các cái dụng cụ như vậy nhé. Bây giờ mình sẽ hướng dẫn các bạn vào làm như sau. Đầu tiên thì mình sẽ lấy cái bút chì và chiếc kẻ. Các bạn sẽ đo cho mình kích thước của cái tờ giấy này. Nó sẽ là 15 cm nhé.